ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਤੁਹੀਂ ਦਸਤਗੀਰ ਅਸਤ ਧਰਮਾ ਦਗਾ ਤੁਹੀਂ ਕਾਰ ਸਾਜਸਤ ਬੇਚਾਰ ਗਾ ਸ਼ਹਿਨਸ਼ਾਹ ਬਖਸ਼ਿੰਦੇ ਬੇਨਿਆਜ਼ ਜ਼ਮੀਨੋ ਜ਼ਮਾਰਾ ਤੁਈ ਕਾਰ ਸਾਜ਼ ਮੂਕ ਉਚਰੇ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਖਟ ਪਿੰਗ ਗਰਨ ਚਰ ਜਾਏ ਅੰਧ ਲਖੇ ਬਦਰੋ ਸੁਨੈ ਯੋ ਕਾਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਾਏ ਕਹਾਂ ਬੁੱਧ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਤੁਸ਼ ਹਮਾਰੀ ਬਰਨ ਸਕੇ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਜੋ ਤਿਹਾਰੀ ਹਮ ਨ ਸਕਤ ਕਰ ਸਿਫਤ ਤੁਮਾਰੀ ਆਪ ਲਿਓ ਤੁਮ ਕਥਾ ਸੁਧਾਰੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Guru Sahib Maharaj has blessed us so much. We've come together in Maharaj's charan. We've listened to a sage part Bhog of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We've taken part in Sri Rehra Sahib, and then we've all sung Aarti Arta together. And now in this camp, for the next 3 days, we'll be listening to a lari of katha based on the struggles of our Sikh Pra and Pena, which took place in the 18th century. This was a time when Sikhi da moll si. There was a price on every one of our heads. If you chose to have case, if you chose to wear a dastar, if you chose to represent your Guru, if you chose to acknowledge with this is my Guru. And how do we acknowledge our Guru in this dunya? How do we acknowledge and say, this is my Guru and I'm following on the Guru's path? We keep the Guru's Swarup, we keep our case, we keep our dastara. And that signifies we are loyal to this path, I'm loyal to this Guru, and from here main aur kitte jana hi nahi. And because of that, wherever we go, if you have this Swarup, you can't hide it. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੁਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ. We have ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ, we have ਦਸਤਾਰ, ਕਰੇ, ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ, we can't hide these things. ਦੂਰੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ. When we go somewhere in a different ਦੇਸ਼, ਦੂਰੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਸਿੰਘ ਆ. Even when we watch TV, we say ਸਿੰਘ, everyone goes, ਸਿੰਘ, look. ਸਾਰੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ. We can't hide who we are because of our Swarup. And in the 18th century, because of our Swarup, we were hunted down. There was a time after Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, after the Shahidi of Banda Singh Bahadur, there was a time that passed in relative peace, where the Khalsa tried to just live in peace. We don't want war. Apa ta shanti ch rehna, apna naam japna, Vaheguru Vaheguru. Par jehdi Mughal hukumat si oh rehn nahi si dindi. So there's a period of struggle. Then after Shahidi of a great Gursikh, Baba Tara Singh Ji, who you'll learn about this week as well, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਅੰਦਰ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੈਠ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ, ਰਹਿਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ, ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ. Now we will be at war, there's nothing we can do, they will come for us. And Zakaria Khan at that time became the governor of Lahore, the chief of the whole of Punjab. He gave a hukum, he goes, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ, ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ, kill all the Sikh, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਦਿਓ. And there was a moll put on their heads. If you gave information of where a Sikh was or where a Jujaru Khalsa was, you were given 10 rupees. If you just said ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਆ, they gave you 10 rupees. If you told them, you know what, they're definitely here, and you could give the exact location and give the information of when they're going to be there, you were given 20. You were given 40 if you captured a Sikh. If you captured a Sikh alive and brought him to Zakaria, you were given 40 rupees. You were given 80 rupees if you bought the head of a Gursikh. And if you look at the exchange rate, 10 rupees of that time is equivalent to about £80. 80 British pounds, ਇੱਥੇ ਦੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ 300-400 ਬਣਦਾ ਆ. 80 rupees was the equivalent of 5,000 British pounds. ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ 30,000 ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕੁਛ. ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ, no one's going to earn that money ਉੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ. In that summer, no one's going to have that much money. ਫਿਰ ਲਾਲਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਗਰ ਪੈ ਗਏ, ਟੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਪੈ ਗਏ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ let's find them, let's kill them, we will become rich. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ. Our children won't have to work. Forget us worrying about ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਖਾਣਾ. Our children won't even have to have no ਚਿੰਤਾ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਖਾਣਾ. We'll get rich by 2-4 ਮਹੀਨੇ. We just hunt these guys down, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੋ, and we will become rich. And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੀ, ਜੁਝਾਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ, the ones that were fighting back against the Sarkar, ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਜੰਗਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਚਲ ਗਏ. They went into the jungles, they went into the marshlands, they went into the mountain areas, they went into the forests. ਪਿੰਡ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ, ਸਿੱਖ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. And the people were so laalachi, people from outside of Punjab, from South India, from Nepal, people from all these other ends, they came to Punjab to get rich. Headhunters, they came, they were trained hunters and killers. They came to Punjab. We ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੀਏ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਬਣ ਜਾਣੇ, we will be rich. Our families will eat for generations. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਦਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ. They didn't care ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕੋਈ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ. They just wanted to get rich. And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜ਼ਕਰੀ ਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਸੀ, ਜ਼ਕਰੇ ਖਾਨ ਦੀ, they just wanted to get rid of the Sikh anyway. They saw Sikh and Singhs as a thorn in their side from the very beginning. At this time, people were so lalachi that some people even killed their own daughters. Which ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾ ਕੀ ਆ? ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਕੇਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. They killed their own daughters, and when they decapitated them, ਮੂੰਹ ਰਗੜ ਕੇ, they scratched up their faces so they didn't look feminine. ਵੀ ਦਾਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ. ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ called young ਫੌਜ, ਜਦੋਂ ਦਾਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ. They ruggered their own daughters' faces because at that time they saw having a daughter as a tangi as well. We know vyana vi are the daj with, and we have to give her this much money, we have to give this many goats and cows. So they saw having a daughter as pain and a burden anyway, and they thought hun ta vadiya ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਆ. People killed their own daughters. ਮੂੰਹ ਮਾਰ ਰਗੜ ਕੇ they presented them before Zakaria. ਵੀ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿਆਓ ਤੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲ ਗਏ ਵਾਪਸ. They were that laalachi, there was that lack of dharam. ਕੋਈ ਧਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ. If they kill their own family, ਵਿਚਾਰੋ, if you have children, when your children, daughter, boy, doesn't matter, when they get ਬਿਮਾਰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗਦਾ. ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਦੇ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਵੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਕਰੋ. ਸਹਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦਾ. But they killed their own daughters for Maya. And we heard as well ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਮਾਇਆ ਦਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੂਰਖ ਲੋਕ ਆ ਜਾਣ, ਵੀ because of Maya, because of ਪੈਸਾ, this dunya turned into ਮੂਰਖ. If we look as well in our lives, if we look where we live, for the sake of Maya, people ਪਾਗਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ. They forgot ਰੱਬ, ਵੀ ਰੱਬ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. They'll puj Maya, they'll do job for Maya, they'll do everything for Maya. They'll wake up early not to jump Rab's naam, not to say Vaheguru, but to go work for Maya, to make business plans. Rab nu chhad ke everyone pagal over Maya. So at this time, the Mustane je, they were killing their own daughters and presenting them. And Sikhi fir mushkil ho gayi, Nabani Punjab de vich. And there was one young Gursikh, when he was born, his parvar named him Sukha Singh. And when he was young, oda prem pe gaya panth de naal. From a young age, oda prem si with me Singh Sajna. Sometimes we see little children who come to the Guru Ghar, ਹੋਰ ਕੁਛ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ they look at the photos of the Shaheed Singhs and they go, ਮੈਂ ਆਮ ਬਣਨਾ. ਫਿਰ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਵੀ ਬੰਨਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕਮਰ ਕਸਾ ਵੀ ਪਾਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਸੋਟੀ ਵੀ ਫਰਦੇ ਆ, ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਹਿੰਗੇ ਆ, just by looking at the photos. ਇੰਨੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਆ ਉਸ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਐਂਡ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੱਜਣਾ। And when he found out that Khalsa was in a forest or jungle close by, ਉੱਥੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ। 8-9 ਛੋਟੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ। And also when he was very young, ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ what they used to do is they used to marry the children off very young. Bhai Sukha Singh was 8 years old when he got married. What they used to do in the ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਸਮੇਂ is 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਆਹ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ। They do the prakarma, they do the lava ਵਿਆਹ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਆ। They fill the muklava when you go and get your bride from her house, ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ 10-15 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ, when he's 20, 18, 19, 20, ਉਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮੁਕਲਾਵਾ ਕਰਨਾ। This was the reath, this was the way of life at that time. ਵੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ, then they'll ਨਿਭਾ their rest on their wedding when they're older. So ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ, and ਉਹਦਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਪੰਥ ਨਾਲ। And he would go when there was a Khalsa Diwan, ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, he'd listen to the Gurbani, he started to learn Gurbani, he fell in love with Gurbani। ਕੀਰਤਨ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਿਆ ਸੀ, ਸਾਜਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨਾ, ਪਾਠ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੀ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ। ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਘਰ ਆਇਆ, ਦਮਾਲਾ ਸਜਾ ਕੇ, ਕਮਰ ਕੱਸਾ, ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਬਸਤਰ ਸਨਦ ਬਾਦ ਤਿਆਰ ਪਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਘਰ ਆਇਆ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਪੈ ਗਈ। And the ਪਰਿਵਾਰ Bhai Sukha Singh is from the lineage of Bhai Lalo ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, in their life, they went to everywhere. ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ। If we ਵਿਚਾਰ, there's one place Guru Nanak Dev Ji refused to go, ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ। Guru Nanak said, मैं आ था नहीं जाना। That was the house of Malik Bhago. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to that area, Malik Bhago was a very rich minister in the Sarkar. He had lots of money. He took funding from the Sarkar to do different jobs, but he never done them. He nachored the khoon of the people to eat. ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਬਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਸੀ, and because of that he was very rich. He had a lot of money. And he belonged, he've heard Guru Nanak Dev Ji, a holy Peer, is in my area, and fir bulaya vi mere ghar aanke shako. Because sometimes people do it to show their wealth, to show everyone in their bend and their village. When the holy people come, they come to my house. Bakiyan nu dikhan waste. And someone came and gave the invitation to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't even look. They refused to say ਇੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ. Instead they went to the home of Bhai Lalo, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਰੀਬ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੀ, and ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਿਆ। And when Malik Bhago found out, ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਬਣਾਈਆਂ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ, made a big feast, and this holy man didn't come here, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਚੋਟ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ his ego. He hurt his ego. And then he travelled himself with all his Fauja behind him, all his people behind him, and he came to the house of Bhai Lalo. And there he questioned Guru Nanak Dev Ji, why didn't you come? मैं इन्ना कुछ थोड़े लिए तैयार करता तू. You said no, this is a slap in the face, this is disrespect. And then फिर बाबा नानक कहते फिर ले आ, फिर bring your food up and देखिए. And we all know the Sakhi when Maharaj squeezed his puri and blood came out. And when Maharaj squeezed the sukki roti, the missa prashada of Bhai Lalo, samundar dodh came out. And when this happened, Malik Bhago de rangi ud gaye. He understood straight away, no pata lag gaya, bolan joga hai rahe nahi. He realized, Guru Nanak showed me what my prashada is and what this prashada is. And sometimes we understand, when we go somewhere and we eat, it doesn't matter how good the food is, कई बारी बंदा विचारदा भी गल नहीं बनी. And when we come to the Guru Ghar, भावें कुछ ना होए, प्रसादा ही होए with achar, and you will say, yaar, this is wicked. Hon anand aaya. In that simplicity of the pure food, which the sevadar hon vi langar banande a pyar naal, for months before they planned with as a camp we appa pyar naal da langar banana. This was the home the lineage that Bhai Sukha Singh was from and his parents. And when Sukha Singh came home, when he came to his village and his parents saw him, ek khushi bhi si, ek fir thoda dar bhi si. They knew we jinnah ne amrit shak liya, oh maut de barabar hai. With their time is limited. As soon as they take Amrit, their time is limited. There's a ticking clock. We don't know sama aajna on. Jad jang vich, jad larai vich, jad someone's going to hunt them down. But they gave it koi gal nahi aapa dekhte. We'll see what happens. And fir Sukha Singh fir janda reha panth de vich. Singhan nu milda reha, prem ban gaya, unan di seva karda reha. Whatever he had from home, aap gareeb si. Je lohi mil gayi, ਚਾਦਰਾ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗਰੀਬ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਿੱਖ ਲੰਘਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ ਸੀ ਆ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਓ and then sometimes one Singh came, sometimes two Singhs came ਗੁਪਤ ਪੇਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਣਾ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਵੀ ਡੋਂਟ ਗਿਵ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਰੱਖ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਰੀਬ ਆ and then one day ਪਿੰਡ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਾਰਕੂ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੁਝਾਰੂ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ and one day the ਗੱਲ reached the ears of the Mughal Mukhbar, the Mughal police force, the Mughal forces ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Khalsa da aana jana ban gaya. In this house the Khalsa's coming and they're going. They've realized CID mil gayi. And then they sent a force. We jao utte pata karo ta unnu dara ke rakho sare pind nu. We don't want nobody supporting these outlaws. We don't want no one supporting these terrorists, these outlaws. Jehde sade naal ladde aapa inna nu marna, inna di koi madad nahi karni. ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮਾਰ ਦਿਓ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦੇ ਛਕਾਉਂਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮਾਰ ਦਿਓ So they went to the home of Bhai Sukha Singh. They went to that pind Maro Kambi and they harassed all the people of the pind, pulling them out their houses, slapping them. Even Sukha Singh's parents, they grabbed him, they searched talashi kiti, they searched the house. Vithe koi hathiar ta nahi rakhe, hor kam ta nahi koi rakhya, asla ta nahi koi rakhya, are there any gunpowder or guns here? Is there any arms or weapons here? At that point, Sukha Singh was away from home. So at this point, when the police came, when the Mughals came and they raided his house, they even grabbed his parents, shook his parents, abused his parents. Where's your son? Your son supports the Khalsa. Your son supports these Kharkus, these Jajarus. And dra ke rakhta. When Sukha Singh came home, he saw his family were all shook. He saw his family were all shaken up. And then they explained to him, we want to, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਦੋ ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੀਵ ਦ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਅਲੋਨ ਡੋਂਟ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਰਲ ਨਾਲ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਭਗਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਲੜਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਜਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਬਾਕੀ ਚਲ ਜਾਣ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਜਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਪੰਗਾ we just about survive. We work one day and the work that we have we eat on that same day and then we have to work the next day. If we work dihari fir shak liya nahi ta na tu ki lena ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਲੜ ਕੇ they're fighting for kingdom, they're fighting for Raj, they're fighting for the freedom of Punjab. We're not even free to do anything. ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਨੇ ਹੋਏ we got no money. ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਗਰੀਬ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ they're fighting for Punjab, ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ we're fighting for survival, we're fighting so we can eat. ਤੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਦੇ ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੱਗੇ ਆ they will sacrifice everything for the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਆ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ In their minds, they made a plan. We Sikhi to dur kariye. And they vichared, how do we get someone away from Sikhi? How do we break someone's Sikhi? We'll take away their saroop. So at that night, in his saag, in his prashada, bhang punkut ke pata, which they put nasha in his saag, high amount of nasha in his saag. ਜਦੋਂ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਂ ਪੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ, he slowly dozed off and he got knocked out. He was unconscious. I mean, someone's unconscious and kuch gal da nahi pata hunda. Sutte pe nahi pata lagda. And then when he was unconscious, they feared bla the nai, the pend da nai, the barber from the pend. And as Sukha Singh was knocked out, the damala khol ke the case katate. In the morning, ਜਦੋਂ Sukha Singh wakes up, ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਠਦਾ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਕੋਈ ਹਲਕਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੱਥ ਫੇਰਿਆ ਹਾਏ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੇਸ ਗਏ straight away ਉਦੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ my parents did this ਸੌਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ they were shouting, they were having a go, there was a fight in our family ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਬੰਦ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾ ਰਲ and ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੇਸ ਕੱਟੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਕੰਮ. So in a fit of depression, in rage, something that he wanted to give his whole life to, in a fit of depression and rage, upset, he ran out of his house. He ran to a big well. This well is still there in the bend of Marokambi. This big well is still there, you can go and see it. He stands on the edge and he's upset, he goes, Je main Sikh nahi ban sakta, fir mera duniya de vich rehna ki hai? What do I want in the world? The one thing I wanted, my parents have took it away. My parents should be joining with me to Sikhi. They broke me away. But main inhanu kuch kar bhi nahi sakta. I can't hit them or kill them. They're still my parents. You still love, honor and respect your parents, even if they don't agree with your way of life. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੱਥ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਚੱਕੀਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਮਾਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ. Then he stands on the edge of the well and people see him. They see that there's a ਨੌਜਵਾਨ on the well and then he jumps into the well to kill himself. ਵੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਮਰਿਆ ਚੰਗਾ ਆ. Instead of this life, I'm better off dead. So he jumps into the well, deep well and he survives. And even at the bottom of the well now, he's there and he's trying to drown himself. And all the penda there coming down, his family, all the people from the penda coming down, and they're throwing down ropes. They're throwing down ropes through the aja, and he's moving the rope. They throw down the bucket. He's pushing the bucket with name. He's crying. He's upset down at the bottom of the well. And as this hoo-ha is going on, as this big roller is happening, there's a Bajorg Fauj walking past, a Bajorg Nihang Singh. An old Baba walking past, he hears the noise and he comes close. And he asks the Pendwari, Aki ho reha, what's happening? And the Pendwari say, we ek Nojwan si on Amrit Shak liya, maa pe ne case katte. And now he's jumped in the well because he doesn't want to live. And the Bajorg goes to the well, he looks down and he says, Sopa Changiya, oi, baby cobra. Young snake, what are you doing? Je marna, idda na mar. If you want to die, don't die like this. This is not our dharam. Our dharam is to fight. If you want to die, come out. Amba kathe marde a. Appa Mughਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਪਾਵਾਂਗੇ. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰਨੀ. And Sukha Singh looking up, he sees all the other faces, then he sees one Gorsek, Damala, Parla, and he goes, Maedi gal manda. Then he listens, and they throw down the rope, he ties the rope, and they drag him up, and he comes out. And he comes out, and then the Bajorg, na hajuri ala ke, fir saja landa Sukha Singh, te koi gal nahi, aaja tu mere naal. Apa jante a dal de vich. And Sukha Singh's vision be shaken and upset. And because he's upset, his family and the whole of the pent, he goes, Chalo Baba ji, tusi jao main aanda 2-4 minutes. One of the Chaudhries in the pent, one of the Sarpanchs in the pent had a beautiful kori. And he sees that kori and Sukha Singh ala dwala dekh ke, panja maar ke, he steals the kori, he does lutam out of the horse, then he comes after the Baba and they both go to the dal. And they go to the dal, they go to the missile, they go to where Jathedar Singh Sahib Baba Sham Singh is. And they go and Nal there and they explain the gal, Phil Amrit Shak lenda dwara. He takes Amrit, now he stays in the Dal. He says, "Main nahi hon jana wapas pind nu. I'm not going to go back to the pind, main ithe rahanga. For now, I will stay here, I will stay in the forge, मैं सेवा करूँगा, मैं वापस नहीं जाना हूँ, मेरे माँ पे कोई है नहीं, कुछ नहीं लगता." He says to Jathedar Baba Sham Singh, मेरे माँ पे तुसी हैं, जो तुसी कहोगे मैं वही करूँगा. फिर Baba Sham Singh उन्हें अमृत भी सिखाता है, he shikas him Amrit, and he trains him in Shastra Vidya. Every day for 6-7 hours, Sukha Singh would train in Shastra Vidya, and he became a master. It said that Sukha Singh, when he started doing Gatka, when he started doing Shastra Vidya, he'd come out the Talwar, the Shastra. For 8-9 hours he trained non-stop, not stopping for anything. He trained for days at a time. He became one of the best warriors in the Pantha at a young age. He was skilled at the gun. He had excellent marksmanship. He was skilled at Talwar, every other Shastra, Slotra, axe. He was a master. And one thing happened in his life. When he jumped down the well, he tried to kill himself. When he came up, he realized, no matter how hard I tried with all my power to kill myself, but gal nahi bani. Maut da dar lat gaya. He was no longer scared of death. He realized, ਜਦੋਂ मैं मरना, वो लिखा है, मैं उदो ही मरना, फिर हुन तक कोई डर ही नहीं. Why should I be scared? When my time to die has been written, I will die then. No matter what I do in this world, I will not die until it's my time. ਇਹਦੇ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਸੋਚ ਪੈ ਗਈ, and then ਫਿਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਖਾਰਕੂ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ. He wasn't scared of anyone. He would go into ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਾਜੀ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮਾਜੀ ਦੋਸਤ ਸੀ, he'd go into the middle of them, fight and come back out. He began doing seva of all the Jathedars, of all the Singhs. Living in the jungles, he would go out in disguise. He'd bring back prashada, pani, atta, loan, whatever the Khalsa needed. He'd go and fetch water, and when the older Jathedars were doing their datan, when they were brushing their teeth, pratan samandu jo datan honda si. Now we use a toothbrush and we brush. In those days they had a datan. And when they have a datan, what they do is they go and they cut it from a tree, from a name of that tree, whatever tree, and from that datan they get it first, they chew it, and then they do it, and then they rip it and then throw it. And then they have a bola as well when they do a datan. And they say, Panja Vadda Dasa Svari Batyan Di Nar. We, with our 5 hands, with our Panja, we broke the datan and we took it for Batyan Di Nar. Then we clean our 32 teeth. Kaji Rakiti Banake Singha Ditti Par. And what that means is the Kaji, the Musliman, they would do datan as well. But what they would do, they'd do the datan and then they'd keep that same datan and they'd cut it and then put it in their pocket. Just they'd look at it, they'd look, put it in their pocket. The next day they'd do the datan again and cut it. And the next day they'd use the datan, same datan for 4 or 5 days. The Khalsa would use it once and then rip it, clean the tongue and then throw it. Sikhan Musliman no Makkah, Hindu no Hardwar. Sikhan no Sachkhand, Veri no Takka, Jara Sikh Datan na pare Musliman Pakka. They had these bole at these times. And around these times when the Singhs were living in the jungles, these bole came about, Gargaj bole. They'd never say, we are ek Singh aa gaya, they Sawa lakh aa gaya. They don't say Karshi, they say Dayal Kaur, we are Dayaluya. They don't say Merch, they say Ladaki. So these bole, because look at the time. One, Duja Sonda, no dar lagda, we have Sawa lakh aa gaya. We are kam ho gaya. And Duja is when you're living in okay times, in difficult times. When you don't know we kal no ki khana, when you don't know we aaj sing mil paya kal no milna ja nahi, one thing we have is humor. To laugh and to joke. And in this hardest of times, in this roughest of times, the Sikh at that time used humor. Like they call a cup a bepartita. We have koi vishwas nahi, because idhar dig jana, udhar dig jana, bata ta digda hi nahi. They've all these different bole. Throughout the next few days, we'll start introducing them. We'll start looking at these bole. And like for a ganda, they call it rupa. They have loads of different For a slotter, they call it akaldan. We are akaldan karda. He blesses people with wisdom. How jinane kai var kaiyan santhya kitti. You get this bhakti rang once, twice, okay, and then you get it right. Fair nahi galti hundi. And that was what happened. They used humor in these tough times, we pata nahi. And when we talk about the things in Chirasi as well, in the jails they used humor as well. They're getting tortured. They're getting their skin ripped and cut. Merjan loon put in their legs broken. And some of the things tell us, the Frishan Mapa Rona Thoroya, we high sanu idda kita, sanu idda kita. They would joke amongst themselves. And they'd say to the other things, oh, aj tu cheek kaddi si, aj tu roya si. And the guys are, nah, and they'd have that braggadocio. We'd never bow down to no one. We're not scared of no one. We are the kings. Under they had that nimrata. Under they had that pyar, that sharda. Barbar, we on apa kisi no nahi mante, they were raje. To the extent where I was in India once, and there's a young Pachangi saying, young 6-7 saal da hona, te naal oda sathi 8-9 saal da. And the big one says to the little one, it's garmi like is ya, tenu top pendi ya. And he turns around and goes, le, main top nu penda hai. That was the gargaj they had. We're not scared of anyone. Apa jo marji apa kar loge. To the extent when they'd say, you know, when they do a pad, they say Mughal maar, we Mughal marta. So they'd have these things. And Sukha Singh, he'd serve the jalu when the Singhs are doing that, and do the mutti chapi, massage their Singhs, clean the older Singh shastar, sharpen their shastars, do their seva, whatever needed doing. He'd wash the bajorg. When the bajorg Singhs had ishnan, he goes, nahi Baba ji, I'll wash the kashera, main to hunda hai. He'd wash the Naujawan, he'd train them all in Shastra Vidya. Jere vi kaam karne se bhaj ke karda. When there was a divan, he aap had the pakhi and he was swinging it. When there was a morcha, when the Singhs found out we spent the which Musliman aande a Sikhan nu maar diya ja tang kar diya, Sukha Singh would go, say Baba ji minnu bhejo. And one day Sukha Singh was sitting and vicharing, te ode man ch gall aa gayi vi main galti ਕੀਤੀ hai. Jara ਪਿੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਆਇਆ ਮਾਰੋ ਕੰਬੀ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਚੋਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ a stole of ਘੋੜੀ from there, a stole of horse. To do lut maar of the dushman, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, they're our enemy, they're trying to kill us, they want to destroy our panth, but to steal off just a random person in the ਪਿੰਡ ਉਹ ਗਲਤ ਹੈ. Then he goes, I have to go back and I have to give them maya. ਜਿੰਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਚੋਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ 2 4 3 ਗੁਣਾ ਵੱਧ ਮੈਂ ਦੇ ਦੂੰਗਾ. First he goes to Lahore, Zakariya Khan's Lahore, and in the share, utthe panja maar ke, he steals a sack of gold coins and he sends it back to his pent. He goes in disguise, and this is, if you were caught, you would have been hung to death in front of everyone. They had the Sharia in full law, they would have chopped your hands off or hung you to death for being a Khalsa. He went there, stole the coins, went back to his pent, and utthe dete sarpanch nu. But he didn't give any maya to his parents. उन्होंने जाके मिलिया भी नहीं, मैं उन्होंने मिलना नहीं, हाथ मुंह नहीं लाना उन्होंने. And he took the maya and he go and put it in the langar. जिथे सेक्या, जिथे लोरिया जंगलां दे विच, ਉਹ ਲੰਗਰ ਛਕ ਲੈਣ. And then slowly, day by day, ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਕਹੋ ਸੁੱਖਾ ਸਿੰਘ. And he has many karnami. There's so many adventures written about by Sukha Singh. That every day he was on a morcha, every day he was doing something. Every day he was raiding Mughal encampments, helping, defending villages, raising young forge. There's many karnami written about by Sukha Singh. And slowly his parents started to come to visit the Singhs, and they'd say, "Vi sada koi ek munda ya, sanu bulaunda nahi." And the Jathedar Singh would say, "Haji vi maa pe ya, ananu bulaya karo, fateh di sanj rakhya karo." So he started to bulaya his parents. And then his parents came one day, and they said to Baba Sham Singh, the Jathedar, with Sukha Singh now is around 18 years old. And they came and told Baba Ji, we had a vyah hoya, he's a Gristi Singh. He's not a Bahangam jitha baki tusi Bahangam Singh ya Gristi ya. He's been married. And because he's married, he has an obligation to look after his family and his wife. We must go back. And they do benti to the Jathadar. And then Baba Ji says to Sukha Singh as well, we jo ardas kitti si, you did your anand karaj, you did the ardas, unna pa pishan hi kar ja sakte. Whenever there's been an ardas in the Sikh Panth, pa pishan nahi gaye utto. If we do ardas, wo kam fir karna hi pena. And then Sukha Singh Veechar, then he says Sat Bachan. So he goes back, they do the muklava and he brings his wife to the new home. But because he's a Singh, because he's tayar par tayar, he can't live there. But kei vari raat nu aa janda, he'd come at night, or he'd spend a day or two inside, and then he'd go back, be with the Singhs for a month, then come back, then go. But aana jana ban gaya. And after some time, his wife gets pregnant. And when they have a baby girl is born. And as the baby's born, pata nahi ki hoya, the baby passes away within a day or two. Within 2 or 3 days, the baby passes away. Sukha Singh wasn't there. He wasn't there at the birth of the child. Because then at those days, the man wouldn't be there at the birth of the child. The dola, the pend, the bibia would do it, and then the Singhs would come after. And he was in the dal doing seva, te pata lag gaya, you had teri kar kuri jammi si, you had a daughter born in your house, oh margi. And in the Khalsa Panth, there's full equality. Men and females have full equality. And there's a thing called Kurimar, where people used to kill their daughters on birth. Because at that time, they saw having a daughter as a boj. If we have a daughter, we have to raise her, do all these things. And then jado vyaniya, we have to give so much money and daj and animals, all kasega. So some people, they used to kill their daughters when they're born. Some places it still happens. If you go to India, some places haji kar de gupt marriage. They'll have abortions if they find out. We inna mustane pagal hoye pe hai log. But Sikhan de vich je kede pata lag gaya, this happened, we have a hukum and it's a red that kuri naal de naal koi mail nahi rakhna. If a daughter dies in someone's house, if someone kills their daughter, then they're out of the Khalsa. They're up bulana nahi. We're not going to even speak to them. They're not allowed to touch any of our pande, nothing. And Sukha Singh's in the Panth at this time, and they say to him, tu kuri marya. A daughter died in your house. And Sukha Singh saying to him, Yar, I'm here, main ta itthe hai tuhade naal. Main thoda gaya pind nu, main thoda gaya ghar nu, main ta dekhi bhi. I haven't even seen this girl. I never saw the baby. And you're saying I'm a kuri mar. And for gal fail gi Singh on the vich. So, because he wasn't there, they never kicked him out the Panth. But anu relaya bhi nahi. They just kept him separate. With this happened in your household, to sade lag nahi sakta. Sade batte di sanj nahi koi. Before he could take his batta, they wouldn't put lungar in his batta. To tu apna apka juda ho ja sade kolo. And the Singhs all stopped talking to him. Jinni odi chadai si. How everyone asked me, Sukha Singh, Baba Sukha Singh, Bhai Sukha Singh. Hun odi tendi kalai odni hogi. No one puchta nahi koi. And he's walking around, he's with the dal still, and he's upset, he's sad. He's always moping, his heart's been broken. Those who I love the most, they've said this about me. And he's always depressed and sad. And during these times, the Khalsa was at war. And at this time, there was Ahmad Shah Abdali. Sometimes we need to vichar the Mughals as well. We all kidda karde si. The Mughals, all when you see, they were all together, all aapas vich larde si. And they sometimes Ahmad Shah Abdali aa gaya, kei vari Nadir Shah aa gaya from Iran, kei vari Mian Mir aa gaya, and they all fought each other for Raj as well. They fought each other and they fought the Sikh as well. There was a time when Mian Mir came to the Sikh and said, Meri madad karo, help me to fight against Ahmad Shah Abdali. And the Sikh, Ralke, they fought against Ahmad Shah Abdali. And when the Sikh came to Lahore at this time to help Maan Mir. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਈਦ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਸੀ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ, and ਜਦੋਂ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਈਦ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਹਲਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ, they were killing many ਗਾਈਆਂ on the roads, they were killing many ਗਾਈਆਂ, the roads were full of blood. and ਜਦੋਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਸਾਈ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਝਟਕਾਤਾ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਆਹ ਪਾਪ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, what are you doing? The Singhs killed them. And when they killed them, all the Muslims came to Maan Mir and said, ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਰਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਯੋ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਆ, ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮਾਰਤੇ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ Maan Mir ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਲੈਣਾ ਆ, we're going to use them and get some ਕੰਮ off them, ਫਿਰ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖੋ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। He was using the Sikh to fight against Ahmad Shah Abdali, and then he said baad ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ। And this whole time span after Zakaria Khan, 22 years after Zakaria Khan is when Maan Mir becomes governor of Lahore. So this whole time span is quite large of everything that's happening to the Sikh Panth at this time. And around this time, Ahmad Shah Abdali is also coming in, invading and trying to take Raj of all of Hindustan and India. And at this time, they've heard ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਆ, ਉਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਖਾਰਕੂ ਆ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜੰਗੀ ਆ, they're the most roughest and toughest fighters. They were known, the reputation is they were the roughest, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਦੇ, they're the strongest. And the Singhs in these times, because we lived in jungles, we lived in forests, ਉਦੋਂ ਦਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ, ਚਮੜਾ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਸਰੀਰ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ, ਪੱਕੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ। We used to just ਖਾਣਾ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ, ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ they would be able to survive. The jungly ਫੌਜ ਸੀ। And around this time, some Pathans came to Punjab. A whole group of Pathans came to hunt down Sikh. ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਭੀਏ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੀਏ। And eventually they come across Bhai Sukha Singh and the ਫੌਜ। ਤੇ ਉਹ katha ਆਪਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂਗੇ। What happens when these Pathans come to Punjab? What happens when they face Sukha Singh? And how Sukha Singh now, how he's pushed out of the Panth, how he gets back in. Then we'll vichar what happened with Sukha Singh and Bhai Matab Singh when they chopped Masarangar's head. And then we'll look at what happened after they chopped Masarangar's head. What happened to Matab Singh? How were they shaheed? And we'll look at how Bhai Sukha Singh was shaheed and what happened next in the life of Bhai Sukha Singh ji. ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਭੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੱਜ ਕੇ ਅਰਜ ਆਵੇ, ਫਤਿਹ ਪਾਵੇ, ਨਿਹਾਲੋ ਜਾਵੇ। ਗੁਰ ਬਰਿਆ ਕਾਲ, ਦੇਖ ਤੇਗ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਬੰਦੇ ਹਰ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਫਤਿਹ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਰਾਮ ਕਲੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਆਨੰਦ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਆਨੰਦ ਭਿਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਮਾਏ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਤਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੇਤੀ, ਮਨ ਵਜਿਆਵਾ ਦਾਈਆਂ। ਰਾਗ ਰਤਨ ਪਰਵਾਰ ਭਰਿਆ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗਾਵਨ ਆਈਆਂ। ਸਬਦੋ ਤਾ ਗਾਵੋ ਹਰੀ ਕੇਰਾ, ਮਨ ਜਿਨੀ ਵਸਾਇਆ। ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਨੰਦ ਹੋਆ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ। ਇਹ ਮਨ ਮੇਰਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਸਦਾ ਰਹੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ, ਹਰ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੋ ਤੂੰ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ। ਦੁੱਖ ਸਭ ਵਿਸਾਰਨਾ, ਅੰਗੀਕਾਰੋ ਕਰੇ ਤੇਰਾ। ਕਾਰਜ ਸਭ ਸਵਾਰਨਾ, ਸਭਨਾ ਗੱਲਾ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਸੁਆਮੀ। ਸੋ ਕਿਉ ਮਨੋ ਵਿਸਾਰੇ, ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ। ਸਦਾ ਰਹੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ, ਸਾਚੇ ਸਾਹਿਬਾ ਕਿਆ ਨਾਹੀ ਕਰ ਤੇਰਾ। ਕਰਤਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਸਭ ਕਿਛ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇਹ ਸੋ ਪਾਵੇ। ਸਦਾ ਸਿਫਤ ਸਲਾਹ ਤੇਰੀ, ਨਾਮ ਮਨ ਵਸਾਵੇ। ਨਾਮ ਜਿਨ ਕੈ ਮਨ ਵਸਿਆ, ਵਾਜੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਨੇਰੇ। ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੱਚੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਤੇਰਾ। ਸਾਚਾ ਨਾਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਧਾਰੋ, ਸਾਚ ਨਾਮ ਆਧਾਰ ਮੇਰਾ। ਜਿਨ ਭੁੱਖਾ ਸਭ ਗਵਾਈਆਂ, ਕਰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਸੁਖ ਮਨ ਆਏ ਵਸਿਆ। ਜਿਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਸਭ ਪੁਜਾਈਆਂ, ਸਦਾ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਿਟੋ। ਜਿਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਵਡਿਆਈਆਂ, ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨੋ ਸੰਤੋ ਸਬਦ ਰੋ ਪਿਆਰੋ। ਸਾਚਾ ਨਾਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਧਾਰੋ, ਵਾਜੇ ਪੰਜ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਤਿਤ ਕਰ ਸੁਭਾਗੈ। ਕਰ ਸੁਭਾਗੈ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਾਜੇ, ਕਲਾ ਜਿਤ ਕਰ ਤਾਰੀਆ।
ਪੰਜ ਦੂਤ ਦਵਾਸ ਕੀਤੇ, ਕਾਲ ਕੰਟਕ ਮਾਰਿਆ, ਤੁਰ ਕਰਮ ਪਾਇਆ, ਤੁਜਨ ਕੋ ਸੇ ਨਾਮ ਹਰ ਕਹਿ ਲਾਗੇ। ਕਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਸੁਖ ਹੋਆ, ਤਿਤ ਕਰ ਅਨਹਦ ਵਾਜੇ। ਅਨਹਦ ਸੁਨੋ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਹੋ, ਸਗਲ ਮਨੋਰਥ ਪੂਰੇ। ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪਾਇਆ, ਉਤਰੇ ਸਗਲ ਵਸੂਰੇ। ਦੁਖ ਰੋਗ ਸੰਤਾਪ ਉਤਰੇ, ਸੁਣੀ ਸੱਚੀ ਬਾਣੀ। ਸੰਤ ਸਾਜਨ ਭਏ ਸਰਸੇ, ਪੂਰੇ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਣੀ। ਸੁਨਤੀ ਪੁਨੀਤ ਕਹਿਤੇ ਪਵਿੱਤ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਰਹਿਆ ਪਰ ਪੂਰੇ। ਬਿਨਵੰਤ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਲਾਗੇ, ਵਾਜੇ ਅਨਹਦ ਤੂਰੇ। ਸੁਨਤੇ ਪੁਨੀਤ ਕਹਿਤੇ ਪਵਿੱਤ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਰਹਿਆ ਪਰ ਪੂਰੇ। ਬਿਨਵੰਤ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਲਾਗੇ, ਆਜੇ ਅਨਹਦ ਤੂਰੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ